What's going on, everyone? I'm your host, the Carolina Collector. Before I begin, I want to say thank you to all of you. You are all making this channel so incredible. I'm making a huge push to reach 1,000 subscribers, but I can't do that without your help. So, smash that like button, comment in the comment section below, hit the bell to receive notifications, and of course, subscribe. I also do have an eBay store called the Carolina Collector 001. The clickable link is in the description box below. I have been very slowly and very steadily transitioning a lot of my cards over the buy it nows, and this video has a lot to do with that because that's becoming a very daunting task for very particular reasons. But if you want to help to support the channel, that's how you can do it. You know, you can pick up some of them loose cards. I'm still listing cards like crazy. I got cards laid out on my floor. I got the knockdown work table all set up again now that my Christmas tree is put away, and it's really time to get back into business. I still had orders to process, but I couldn't do that today, which kind of sucks because, well, here we go. The topic of this video. Women and hobbies. Now, I know there are a lot of females in all the various hobbies across the board, whether it's Magic the Gathering, sports card collecting, Transformers, what have you, even these stupid things, right? But it's different when you are running an eBay shop or an eBay store. And, you know, I do have a pretty active social life where I am. You know, my life has completely changed over the years, you know, where, I mean, honestly, I'm not going to even pretend. I have calmed it down quite a bit. One, because of my personal health. And two, it's too violent and too stupid outside for me to, you know, continuously get into these battles with people who, quite frankly, in my opinion, are simply beneath me because of their political stance. It's pathetic. It really is. But the simple fact of the matter is that this world has become just a little too violent, and this home of mine has become a self-contained universe, and you can go stir crazy if you don't keep yourself busy. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, you know, I'm on a disability retirement, unfortunately, as a result of shuffling around at Ground Zero in 2001. So, you know, doing this sports card stuff has really, you know, given me something to do and to keep me grounded. And of course, I put a little money in my pocket. I'm not making $1 million. I'm not making huge amounts of money. But, you know, whatever I put into the hobby, you know, I try to take something back out of it so I can roll it back over into the hobby again. And for a while prior to Christmas, it was paying for my small bills. Long after I bought boxes and boxes and boxes of cards and singles, when I started making money back, which I'm beginning to see sales of mine go up again because now the holidays are done, and that's when people tend to spend money. Now spring training is right around the corner, so I expect sales to pick up. But it goes right back into the hobby, and it goes into my small bills, you know, grocery bill, cell phone bill. I have a separate bill for my home phone. I have a landline and all that kind of stuff, and it helps. Pays for gas sometimes. But it's becoming more and more difficult, especially now that I've started a relationship prior to Halloween. And like, she was just here today. It's now 20 minutes to 5. Monday, January 6th. Happy Trump Day, by the way. You know, she was here for a couple hours. She got here this morning, and, you know, I made us food and whatnot. And I had all these cards laid out because I'm going through my current inventory. In particular, the 2023 Topps Chrome Lids Mitchell and Ness cards, which I've probably opened up the most of any YouTube channel here on the platform. And I've gone through crates of these. I'm down to my last 2 crates now. So what I decided to do to save myself some work was to finally take the 2 crates that I do have and marry both of them together. At least I'm trying to marry both of them together and get a count of each individual player in each individual sub-year, because there are, I believe, 7 subsets within the 50-card set of that 2023 Lids Mitchell and Ness set. So I don't have many Corbin Carrolls left. Somebody did order them last night, but I got a feeling they're not going to pay. There's another card that somebody bought off me. Today's the 5th day. If they don't pay by today, I'm going to have to relist it and block the individual, and that'll be that. But I'm actually sitting down and taking the time and getting a count of exactly how many of these cards that I have, and then listing them as a batch listing. So recently I put up, like, for example, I had 5 Topps Now Ellie De La Cruz base rookies, and the average price is like $2 and change. So I listed mine for $1.99 each. And I listed them as a quantity of 5, which of course you could buy 1, you could buy 2, you could buy 3, 4, 5, etc., etc. I did that with some Clayton Kershaws from the 2023 Lids, Mitchell, and Ness set. I believe, if memory serves, I think there's 15 of them I have listed in one batch listing for 99 cents. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to gather together all of these multiple cards and put them in as a batch listing so that this way it makes my life a whole lot easier when it comes time to process. But it gets very difficult and challenging because, and I think you fellas who find good women will understand where I'm coming from. Or if you have a good girlfriend or a good wife, when you're trying to do your own thing and trying to establish yourself, as an eBay seller, or, you've taken your hobby to that level where it's like, hey, I can put some money back into this and maybe a little bit of money on the side for myself. It becomes extremely difficult because then there starts to be a clash. Where like today, I wasn't expecting her to come. We just saw each other all weekend, and then she came again today, which I have no problem with, by the way. But, I have to stop everything that I'm doing because she commands a lot of my attention. It's how women are. And now I got all these baseball cards laid out on my floor. And now my best bud wanted to come hang out for a little bit and throw down a couple beers. So now pretty much all my plans have been a wash for today. And it's not just that. The weather outside sucks. So I've had to put all that off to the side. So I'm going to have to try to do that again tomorrow. I've got, I think, 3 or 4 orders that I printed out. There's a Gunnar Henderson 2023 Topps Lids Mitchell and Ness SGC 10 that I sold. It sold almost immediately as soon as I listed it. And then there was a Bryce Harper from that set, a base Bryce Harper, and I think a Corbin Carroll. I'm not sure. But I got the labels printed out. I just haven't had time to pack them because, again, once I start, my mind wants to do one thing, but the world around me requires me to do something else. And it gets very, very difficult and very challenging. And that's when I start falling behind. And then there's the problem where, like, if I try to shut everybody down, and then, of course, the pathetic, petty arguments start, and it's like, it becomes very difficult to find a balance with all of that. And I've noticed as time has gone on, at least with myself in particular, there's all these, and I'm glad that I got the friends I have. I'm very lucky I found this girl. We've been dating for quite some time now, but, it's just, it's becoming difficult the more we go on and continue in this relationship. It's becoming more and more difficult for me to siphon time out of my own personal life to actually sit down and get these cards out there, available to all of you. I've had that second crate of Mitchell and Ness sitting there raw for all of these months, and now I just finally started to tackle them, and I had to stop. So, there's really a clash sometimes where, like, my intentions are to try to put these cards out into circulation for people that want them, and they've been doing quite well for me. And now with spring training coming around very soon, with the season starting over again, I'm sure a lot of these player cards are going to be scooped up just like that. And then there's all the other boxes from cards that I've opened up, whether it's numbered parallels, golds, refractors, X-fractors, all that kind of stuff. There's a ton of cards that I still want to put out there that I have to sit down, I have to research, I got to price them out. But as soon as I try to knock on a door or a text message or a phone call, and I got to stop everything I'm doing, and it can become a drag, man. You know what I mean? Financially, thank God, I'm not hurting. That I have a nice chunk of change put away for myself in case of a rainy day or something like that. But I would like to build on that. And it's hard because, when it comes to my YouTube channel, for example, I have a huge backlog of items that I want to review. I finally did the Red Ryder BB gun. I wanted to do that for the past week or so. I couldn't do it because the holidays, I got sick, I had company over, she's been staying with me, and then once the holidays were done, I had to break all that down. I had to clean the apartment and food shop and build hay, and it's just, you know how it is with life sometimes. Again, when your intentions are sincere and your mind is telling you, this is what you need to do to keep going, unfortunately, all this outside stuff becomes a bit of a pain in the ass. So there's so many more cards that I want to put out there, but, I'm trying to clear out these Mitchell and Ness cards first and foremost, because like I said, I had 4 crates of them at one time. Now I'm down to the last 2. Many of them I had graded, which I've sold off successfully, and I kept only a handful of like the high profile ones for myself, particularly the red out of 5s. But there's so many cards that I want to go through, and there's cards I want to submit to SGC that I just can't seem to wiggle free that extra 5 minutes. There's always like that 15 or 20 minute span where I have enough time to actually sit down and maybe start getting some cards prepped up. But then all of a sudden, phone calls from my family, phone calls from my friends, knocking at the door, friends are coming over, then she wants to spend time, and, then I got to take care of bills and stuff. I just got my tax forms from one of my sources of my main income, for example, so now I'm going to have to start looking into getting my taxes done. And then, of course, I'm not sure, because I live in the state of North Carolina, I never received a 1099K last year, because, the income tax laws are much different here, much more laxed. And typically with my normal income, I'm not going to say how much I get every year, but it's almost the same amount beat for beat every single year. Unless the tax law changes, it's almost the same thing. So, I've got to focus on that quite soon. I'm waiting for one more piece of paper from my home union back in New York, and then I can finally get my 2024 taxes done. And then I got to look into in seeing what I do for the LLC, if I have to file or not. That I'm going to leave in the hands of H&R Block to do. But there's always all this other stuff that's going on that takes me away from, wanting to do toy reviews. And God, I got like 50 or 60 cards laid out on my living room floor right now as I'm making this video. But when she came over, I had to stop all of that, and then, she wanted to watch her little girly movie. And, again, I made food for the both of us for breakfast and lunch and whatnot. And, I could not focus on what I wanted to do. So it's very difficult, man. I didn't think, after all of these months, and I only started doing this in June of 2024, I did not think it was going to be as difficult as I'm finding it out to be. Not saying having a relationship is bad. I mean, obviously, she's a great woman. We had our first big fight recently, which is why I'm kind of happy she came over here to spend time, because I don't want to argue, with anybody. I don't want petty fights and arguments and all that kind of stuff. But unfortunately, like I said, when she comes, she's got all my attention. So it's very difficult for me to sit down and want to focus on putting some cards out there. And it does, at the end of the day, it's going to end up hurting me because I'm not making any money off of that stuff. Not like I'm making $1 million. I think I've been pretty open and transparent with all my eBay customers that I try to sell my cards for as cheap as humanly possible. And for certain cards, I'll set them at slightly below market value for what I see to make it affordable for everybody. But, that one-time auction that I did for like a week or two prior to Christmas, that was a huge success. But a lot of the prices that I got for those cards were not really what I was expecting. I did do well, but, of course, it's the off season. It was the holidays, and I got a lot of my cards got sold for a lot less than I was asking for. But, regardless and despite that, still, I'm still selling cards. Again, I got my first official sales of 2025 going, which are right on my table right now. I haven't had time to sit down and cut the labels out, pack the cards, all that good stuff, get them to the post office, because, again, when she's here, and now I'm expecting my buddy to come over if he comes today. And it's difficult to manage the time. I didn't realize it was going to be this difficult. Now I'm only saying this as something rhetorical. I can only imagine if I had my own storefront. or a kiosk or something like that. I'm not sure I would be able to handle it, because it's like, with all these outside things that clearly require my attention, how would I be able to focus on trying to not just enjoy this hobby, but to try to make something back, to put back into the hobby, or to help me with my personal expenses, and, to try to, lessen the burden, because I'm on a fixed income. So, and with this new thing that they released with Social Security, I don't believe I qualify, even though, I do get two sources of income. I don't think I'm in that group because of that. So, whatever I can within the legal means, I'm allowed to do. But even with that being said, if it wasn't for the baseball cards, like for a long time, for example, I have no problem talking about this. I was on food assistance for a long time. And then once I got these settlements from my 9/11 case, and I was able to pay back all this debt and back taxes and this and that and everything else, I surrendered my EBT card. And, I think they overpaid me since I moved here, because they considered the move that I made here putting more money in the envelope. So they considered that an increase in income, because I was paying like $1,300 in my old apartment. Here I'm only paying like $1,000 or whatever it is, $1,100, something like that. So they consider that an increase in income. So of course I had to pay that money back, which is fine. That really didn't bother me at all. I kind of saw that coming. I was prepared for it. I prepared for all of these contingencies, and it's nice to know that that's just one less thing that I don't need to be dependent on. And the goal is to get yourself off of that sort of thing, But unfortunately, with all the other stuff here, like I'm pre-diabetic, H1C type 2 pre-diabetic. So now I've got to take all these supplements and all this stuff. I got to change my diet, which I've been doing. Which maybe I'll do a review of all the supplements that I've been currently taking. I think I talked about the fact I was diagnosed as type 2. And then, of course, everything else from 9/11, which I don't like focusing on that too much anymore. That's kind of like a subject I try these days to stray more and more away from, because I don't have any more to fight for at this point, except for an appeal in my third case. But, it was such a blessing to be able to get myself off on food stamps. I hated it, But now I'm actually trying to do something honestly, and to do something by the numbers and by the book. And, unfortunately, my life has got so busy now. It's not like I'm just laying here sitting on a cloud all day, staring out into the, wild blue yonder, drinking cocktails from my patio. Excuse me. I do have bills to pay. I got rent to pay. I got food I got to shop for. I have car insurance I need to pay. Based on my income, I maxed out the amount of money that goes into my Medicare Part A and B and all that kind of stuff. So whatever I get left, that money is finite. And it is enough to cover me, and pay for everything. But, having this little shindig of mine really, really helps. But it becomes a little bit of a detriment when I have all these outside forces acting against me, and I'm not able to sit there and do what my brain knows is best. So, it's very easy to say no, but putting that into practice when you have the kind of life that I've got, again, I'm very blessed to have the friends that I got. I just saw one of my buddies outside right now after I walked her to her car and threw out the garbage, and, we're always together. We're always hanging out with one another. We're always eating each other's food, drinking each other's beer, always having a good time, and I love that. I love that in my life. Not many people have that, and I'm blessed that I do have that. And then, of course, I have her, and I've been trying to keep her out of social media, because the simple fact of the matter is, I don't want to bring her into anything. Unfortunately, like what I found out this morning, my God, people are really vicious when they want to be. I put out a goofy, stupid Trump video, and people were posting death threats. I had to take these comments, delete them, and then block the individuals that were leaving death threats. And I worry about her safety. Of course, here where I live, anyone even attempts to try to put a hand on me or a hand on her, well, fuck around and find out. And anyone who thinks that they know something about me, let me tell you, every time I've had a mugshot taken of me or someone has accused me of something, the charges have always been dropped or I've been acquitted of those things because am right with a lot of things. I always cover my bets. Always, always, always. When people are sending me death threats, it's like, come on, give me a break. But anyway, besides all of that drama and nonsense, I really don't pay it too much mind because when it comes to people like that, if they really were going to do something, they would have done it by now. And if they did try to do something, God help them. Especially here in the state of North Carolina where we have the stand your ground law. So, but with that being said, folks, I'm trying my best to get some new cards out there. I'm trying my best to itemize a lot of the things that I have. It's very slow going. It's very tedious. A lot of listings I've already transitioned over to buy it nows. There's still a lot of cards that are up for auction I would prefer to have as buy it now, so I don't have to keep relisting again and again. Though I think eBay's app allows for multiple relistings again because it stopped for some reason. But there are so many cards. Like I'm looking at 5 crates of cards right now that I want to put on eBay, but I guarantee as soon as I start dedicating my time and my attention to those cards, something else is going to come up. It's very difficult to balance all of that. I never realized how difficult it actually is, So thank God a lot of these Mitchell & Ness cards I already prepared with penny sleeves and top loaders and what have you, but now I'm really making a push to try to get rid of these things because it's like, my God, I mean, I literally went through 4 crates of them. Now I'm down to the last 2. And then I have a whole bunch of Bowman Chrome, Bowman Paper. There's some Topps Platinum. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I still have to go through and decide what am I going to keep, what am I going to sell. And then now 2025 is here, so now Series 1 paper is going to be coming out quite soon. I'm sure everybody's preparing for flagship. This rookie class doesn't seem to be all that impressive, by the way. Unlike last year, I mean, you had Ellie De La Cruz, you had Wyatt Langford, you had Evan Carter, you had Paul Skeens. I mean, we had all these cool rookies, but this rookie class, including Dylan Cruz, etc., I don't think is going to be the rookie class we're going to be looking forward to, unfortunately. So I don't know how much hype is going to be involved with this rookie class. So we won't know until spring training. We won't know until flagship drops. So there's that. I don't know what I'm going to do for the 2025 season as far as my involvement in buying packs or boxes or cases of cards. I really don't know. After last year, especially with Topps Chrome Baseball and what was done with Sapphire, I just don't know. I really don't know. And now knowing that we're going through this bullshit with resellers and CT scanners and, all this garbage, and now we're finding patch cards or relics are fake, that they didn't come from the actual material that the player wore on their back. It's from somebody else or some replica. So now we're finding out about companies now defrauding us. So the game has changed to such a point that, to tell you the truth, I really don't know what the future is going to hold. As far as my involvement in collecting, we will see. But by the time we get to find out any of this, of course, the box breakers and the LCSs and the third-party eBay flippers are going to go out there and scoop up everything. And then normies like you and me aren't going to be able to get our hands on it, and it really sucks. It really, really sucks. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about this topic because I felt it was important. So I understand a lot of you, who have wives and girlfriends and significant others, and, it's very difficult. It's like oil and water. Women, for some reason, they know when a man likes something that takes his attention away from the real world. Distraction of any kind is healthy, but too much distraction, especially with certain genres, like, dressing in a dog suit is unhealthy and kind of so. Well, women have this this very strange sense of things that when a man actually is sitting down and not having all their attention focused on them. They know exactly where to wedge themselves in, like today. I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm just saying that's just la guerra de los sexos, the war of the sexes, basically. That's usually how it is. So, but she'll watch Scooby-Doo with me all day. Like, that's what we were watching, that live action Spooky Island Scooby-Doo thing. She thought it was cute, whatever. Now here I am, and now I'm waiting to see if my buddy calls me. If not, I'm just going to continue on what I have been doing, and that's by itemizing and sorting and listing, and just keep pressing on until I get as many cards out there as possible for all of you to enjoy. So again, if you would like to support the channel, check out my eBay store, the Carolina Collector 001. I am trying to list as best I can, as a higher frequency as I can, but unfortunately, like I said, it's just the way my life has panned out nowadays. Unfortunately, I don't have the kind of time I would like to have to be able to sit there and just shut everything off and shut off everything and shut everything down and just strictly focus on that. Like right now, I don't want to get into it, but there's personal business between my biological family, my mother and my father, versus myself that needs to be taken care of. I'm not going to get into what that means. It's nothing bad. It's literally financial business. So that's got to be taken care of. I haven't had time for that. But that's just life. At least I've got things to do. I've got things that keep me busy. I got things that keep me grounded. You know, I've been taking better care of myself, except for today. My God, the amount of crap we ate, her and I. You know, so I'm going to pay for that. But after all of that is said and done, yeah, it's just, I didn't think it was going to be as difficult as it's becoming. So I am slowly working on getting some stuff out there. And I'm also trying to make it cheap for you and easy for me, where it's a win-win for all of us. So I really appreciate your time and your patience. You know, if your orders go out late, again, I'm sorry. It's just, that's my life. You know, I'm a human being. I got a life too. You know, my face isn't always on YouTube. I'm not always making videos. I'm not always working on my sports cards. You know, I do it all. I'm a one-man machine. I shop for my own food. I do my own laundry. Sometimes I'll take a shortcut and I'll pay the girl at the laundromat to do it. It costs me a little extra, but it saves me time. You know, I got to pay the rent. I got to pay the electric. I got to pay my cell phone bill. I got to pay my home bill. Got to pay the cable. Got to pay the car insurance. You know, it's just, that's how it works. And then I have taxes now that are coming up with all the paperwork that showed up. And thank God it showed up early, because the faster I get my taxes done, the easier the year is going to be for me. And the faster I can hopefully put some money in my pocket, which is always the ultimate goal. But that's pretty much it. Again, this isn't a let's bash women video. There's a lot of that stupid shit that's out there. You know, I didn't think I was going to start dating again. It just happened. We've been together for months now. So, and she's worth taking the time for. I'll put it like that. You know, unlike some people in my past who are nothing more than overgrown, spoiled female children who want to live with mommy and daddy for the rest of their life. This one is a woman. And believe me, she is worth fighting for. So, with that being said, I don't mind taking the time away from my stuff. It can be a pain, especially when I'm trying to invest my money into this hobby to try to get cards for my personal collection. And obviously my other collectibles, Star Trek, Transformers, which I got multiple Transformers. I have a huge backlog of Transformers, huge backlog of Masters of the Universe action figures. I just got another one recently that I had a pre-order in. That came. I ordered for New Age Romulus, as a matter of fact. That's coming. I mean, I got the Cliff Jumper Bumblebee Missing Link action figures, which I don't know when they're going to be shipped, but my order's in. So there's so much stuff. I have this huge back order of things and a huge backlog of things that I already have in my hand. It's just getting to it. So again, thank you for your time and your patience. It really means a lot to me. Again, if you want to help support the channel, check out the link in my description, in the description box below, the Carolina Collector 001. Clearly, I'm starting to get cotton mouth from talking so much. So I'm going to at this time, I don't think my buddy's coming. He would have called me by now. So I'm probably just going to focus on hopefully listing some more cards and putting more batches together and getting some buy it nows out there. And if you're interested, you know where to look. Take care, everyone. God bless. Stay safe. I'm your host, the Carolina Collector, and I will see you soon.